The Broncos came to life. They cut it to 10. And then here was one of the big plays in the fourth quarter.
Denver's not stacked in at the line of scrimmage.
It's a 3rd and 5. They come up the middle. Heavy pressure in the third. Intercepted. It's picked off by Sternad. He breaks a tackle. Breaks another. Now inside the 20. Oh, disaster. What a play.
Sternad's going to be lined up in the weak side.
No doubt about that. Huge defensive play. Will Lutz kicked a 39-yard game-winning field goal as time expired. Bo Nix, 2 touchdowns, added 2 more on the ground. The Broncos lead the AFC West with a record of 5-2. And here's one of those plays in the fourth quarter.
Chased by Thibodeau, backpedaling, touchdown, Harvey, and the Broncos are back in business.
And then they took the lead.
Himself on 1st and 10. Blocked by Bowles, touchdown Denver. The Broncos have their first lead today.
And then the Giants came back. They missed the extra point, and then 2 big plays by the Broncos leads to this.
Will Lutz, 39-yard field goal for the win. He got it. Denver has won. So improbable. NFL teams had won 1,602 consecutive offensively when leading by 18 points.
That is crazy.
There are a lot of things that we're still doing, particularly offensively, that trouble me, and we'll get it fixed. We have to get it fixed.
All right, the Broncos took care of business. The Giants lay down, and the Broncos kick the rest of the way. They kick some butt at Mile High. DJT welcomes the Prime Minister of Australia to the White House this morning, and the Schumer shutdown continues. The Senate will meet this afternoon to try for an 11th time to end the shutdown, which started on the 1st of October.
They have a deal. We have a deal. We just want an extension. And the reason we want an extension is because you can't make a deal with these people. They're lunatics. They've gone crazy. They're crazed people. Trump derangement syndrome. There really is that disease. At first I found it to be amusing. Now I find it really is. They want $1.5 trillion for health care for illegal aliens that come into our country. If we do that, it will jeopardize the health care of the citizens of our country. So we're not going to do that.
Millions of Americans took part in Saturday's No Kings protests across the U.S. TDS in full effect. You can see some really good video on X at Jeff Hunt to take a look at these fine Americans.
And the No Kings protesters.
Let's see what Trump says.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was.
They'll check into that. Kenny
Loggins. I love the fact that people make their signs. It makes me so happy. I go up, like if you watch my interviews, I actually have a pretty good time with people there.
Yeah,
because
you do,
some of the signs are funny and like we haven't talked about this, but the old guy that wrote 8647. Did you see that video?
I saw that.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. So I'm like, no, we're not calling for violence, are we? And he's like, Sonny, in the restaurant industry, when you want to clear a table, you say that we need to 86 the food because it's spoiled. Trump is spoiled. And I'm just like...
And he's not. That's what was beautiful about it. God.
They went, the nursing home had crafts hour, and they all laid out their little posters, and they wrote their little signatures. My son told me that 86 for James Comey did it. And the guy had no idea what he was talking about. So you couldn't really get mad at him.
Great.
You couldn't
it's true.
The guy hardly knew his right from his left. And it was just kind of fun. So you watch these people, they make their signs, they go out on the street corner They do their thing. It is what it is. You know.
Exactly. I'm glad they can do it. Just don't throw rocks and cement milkshakes and
dress up as those little inflatable things. It actually probably
I love
is better.
those things. Those are great. Yeah, those are great at college football games. By the way, they're the best. Kenny Loggins demanding his song be removed from an AI video posted by 47 over the weekend. The video depicts Trump wearing a crown, flying a jet, and dumping what appears to be fecal matter on protesters while Loggins' Danger Zone plays underneath.
It lands on that Harry guy. What's his name? Harry something?
Yes.
I forget his name.
I've got a question about this. I understand the comedy that everybody sees inside of this, but if you step back, isn't this just the AI version of Hillary Clinton saying "basket of deplorables"? Hasn't Trump just defined one segment of America that he doesn't like and that he feels he should be able to pour feces on top of them? So again, I understand the humor inside of it.
No, you're taking it too serious.
Allegedly.
No, I understand. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate.
No, I
but
understand.
It's so over the top and ridiculous.
I understand. And again, I'm not disagreeing with it being over the top, nor the comedy involved. But what I'm talking about is the group of individuals that said, Hillary called us a basket of deplorables. Look, they don't respect us. They don't like us, anything else. And then we have the president, leader of that same party, pouring feces on a bunch of Americans. I see them as fairly similar based on
Harry. What's his name?
I know, but what I'm looking at is what I see is it is still it's basically invalidating the other side. It's saying that I don't have to listen to the other side because they're not American enough for me. And so what I'm seeing I'm seeing the same
way too much.
No, I'm seeing the same. No, I'm seeing the same behavior that I saw with Hillary Clinton that I disagreed with, where they're talking about people on the other side being a basket of deplorables, and I see the same behavior with Trump saying the best thing to do is pour feces on a bunch of the protesters that I disagree with. I see the same core behavior. I think that, again, the Trump video is funnier than what Hillary did. That is objectively, I think, true as far as comedy. But the message contained inside, I think, is remarkably similar.
However, DJT and the right, we know it's a joke. Hillary was serious about it. And I welcome it.
I think that is
true. Didn't Trump say that the people coming out to No Kings hate America? Didn't he say they were going to be didn't he say they were going to be terrorists and pro-Hamas?
Yeah, but I'm saying the fecal matter on top of it.
Even in the clips that you played this morning, Blake, he denigrates the No Kings protesters. So I think it is very similar. I think it's incredibly similar based on the motivation. Yeah,
maybe.
But again, my opinion. No, who knows?
No, I get it. I was, I had no problem with Clinton saying that because I knew it'd backfire on her. So I want her to say stupid stuff like that. And you could say the same thing about Trump in that situation. But I mean, the video, the AI video, is comedy. I mean, anytime you're talking about fecal matter, I don't like. To me, it's not funny, but, it's goofy.
Oh, sure.
Whatever.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with the comedy or entertainment factor inside of the video. I get it. I understand why people thought it was funny, etc. But for me, I looked at it, I'm like, that's an interesting message. The message contained therein was very similar. But that's just because I'm wired differently than most people. I'm wired differently. I know that I'm sitting on my own island.
This guy's president.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Okay. In all of this, just for a second here, you know who probably feels the worst about their political career in this entire thing going on with Trump and Biden and everything else right now? Howard Dean.
Let's see.
Think about Howard Dean.
I thought about him the other day trying to figure out whatever happened to that guy.
Because of his career was over. and Trump can share videos of him dumping poop on people. And Howard Dean is sitting there going, damn it. I'm sorry. I just think that's interesting.
It's true.
It's because Trump's a unicorn. Trump's a once-in-a-generation unicorn. And you'll get a whole bunch of people that try to replicate it and never will.
No, can't.
Nope. No, they can't.
No.
They can't fake the front.
Nice
Absolutely.
one. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I knew you'd appreciate that one. All right, the Blue Jays force a Game 7 in the ALCS. They defeat the Mariners 6-2, and Toronto, tonight's winner, advances to face the Dodgers in the World Series. CSU fires head football coach Jay Norvell on Sunday. The Rams looking nationwide for their next head coach. Rock legends Rush will give fans more chances to catch them on their reunion tour next year. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famers announced Monday they're adding 17 more dates, October 5th, right here in Denver. 47 in Englewood, 46 in Boulder, 49 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue, and Billy is back with more stories. I still can't believe who he saw at that wedding.
Dude,
Blake Olson, man, that is so cool. I know you were talking wrestling.
From the top row.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we did a little. Yeah.
Shooting works, man.
Exactly, my friend. Exactly.
News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 KNUS forecast this early Monday. Clear skies with temperatures in the mid-40s by daybreak. Then for the rest of your Monday, sunny and terrific. Highs near 70. Clear starry skies tonight, lows in the upper 30s. Sunny again with temperatures near 70 for Tuesday. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Ben Morrison. Good morning, Ben. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Well, I don't wanted to touch on this, I guess, just real quick. The origin of the fur thing that originated at some school in Missouri, I think, where they had brought in some 5-gallon buckets and put cat litter in them, but it was for a situation where if they had a school shooter, and they had to lock down the classroom, they would have like an area to go to the bathroom if they were going to be in there for an indefinite amount of time. So that's all that was.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Republicans way overblew that. But getting back to like No Kings, I don't, some people are calling and equating it to the civil rights marches and, the Vietnam, and I don't think it's quite at that level. I think it's kind of a little bit more similar to the Tea Party rallies that happened, during Obama, kind of in 2010, 2011, 12, kind of in that scope of
Ben,
things.
I know you and I have disagreed a lot on things. I think you're correct in that. And that's what's more intriguing to me is this an indicator of the Democrat Party going through its own Tea Party kind of process and embracing more progressive candidates? That's the compelling, that's where I think the change is here.
I think it's bringing up notice, and I think getting people a little bit more engaged. That's one of the things that I saw at the downtown section was there were a lot of people handing out information on how to register to vote. There's a lot of people that were out there with petitions that are getting things, that will be on the ballot probably. I think it's too late for this cycle, but maybe coming up in 2026, like graduated income tax and a few of the other things that are being, I'm not sure if that went through all the legal applications yet at the state yet, but Ben, there was some other petitions that were out there.
Yeah, and they were right to take advantage of that opportunity. Folks like Chris Kennedy and the Bell Policy Center that are running some of those graduated income tax. I mean, those are core people that would be interested in that type of stuff. So yes, show up and get your signatures. I'm intrigued as to whether or not you think that Colorado voters are reflected in mass in No Kings. And I bring this up because I think that audience is more interested in a Phil Weiser, fight Donald Trump every ounce, every inch, versus a Michael Bennet, who is kind of more of a traditional Colorado voter. When the Democrat Party comes and has its primary, who do you think wins that? Do you think that the Colorado voter is getting more progressive?
I think it would also depend on what's going on the Republican side. If they're going to try to put someone more moderate in on their end, then I think Democrats will probably lean to someone also a little bit more moderate. But if they put in some firebrand, they may try to put in their own firebrand. So I'm not sure yet who's going to win on that. I think I saw a kind of a wide swath of a bunch of different Democrats, from people that are very far left, the very progressive, and then a lot of people that are moderate and just don't like Trump and are kind of fed up with a lot of the abuses that he's been doing in this country.
Ben Morrison, appreciate the call.
Yeah,
thanks so
man.
much.
Nice to hear your voice.
Let's talk Guy Rees. My wife and I went to Guy Rees recently in Parker and got to sit down with them and go through their entire professional kind of design process and learn about them, as they are sponsors of the show. They showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Look, I was a little overwhelmed at first because I've never actually sat down with a personal designer. I just wandered around Home Depot trying to figure out what is a satin sheen. I have no idea what that means, right? So I sat down with a professional design consultant, and what the best part is that my wife, who asked lots of questions, got to ask all of her questions, right? Because when she does that to me, I'm like, I don't know. But she got to talk to a pro that got to guide her through the entire process. Then they came out to our house and brought these Hunter Douglas custom blind shades and shutters, and we got to see what it looked like in our house with our lighting, the type of color that it would look like in our house. And then they brought in lasers and measured everything too, which was very cool. We now have remote control blinds, and they're not crazy expensive. My daughter the other day was saying, gosh, I feel like we've reached next level. We have remote control blinds. I was like, I know. We used to have the old blinds that you'd pull up and then the string would break. So things are great in our house because of Guy Rees. My wife is thrilled. My kids are thrilled. And it didn't cost an arm and a leg. They are very professional in what they do. Their designers are the experts, can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll even come to you. So get the same expert advice right in your own home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit GuyRees.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. GUIRYS.com. Gentlemen, take your wife there and just say, why don't you meet with a design consultant? You don't have to buy anything. You just meet with them. Figure out what might work, then negotiate the costs and see what your budget can afford. But pro tip, just let your wife go crazy, ask all the questions, and figure out what your home might be able to transform into. She will absolutely love you for it. All right. Bill, did you see this article? Came out this morning, actually, about bank robberies in Colorado.
No, I didn't. Share it with me.
All right. Bank robbers turn blue states into hotspots for heists as bandits grow bolder. And yes, it's Colorado.
Oh.
While national decline in bank robberies is taking place, Colorado remains among the top states for these crimes, a fact that concerns local banking leaders who report an uptick in heists. According to the FBI, Colorado recorded 104 bank robberies in 2023, the most recent year with data available. That ranked third in the nation behind California and Illinois. Our populations aren't even close to those populations. Jennifer Waller, Chief Executive Officer and President of the Colorado Bankers Association, said the state's high ranking is nothing new. Colorado, unfortunately, has always been high in robbery. We compete with California and a few other states for the number one position on bank robberies. I can't believe that people still do bank robberies.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like something you'd easily get caught with. Like, with all the cameras and the flock license plates and, visual ID stuff and fingerprint. Like, really?
And if you want to steal money, you have cryptocurrency. Sorry, that's a personal thing. Sorry, yes, I'm joking. Maybe. Maybe.
Oh, my goodness. So Colorado continuing to deal with that issue. And, Bill, you and I were talking just briefly. Trump's DOJ saying that the crime data has been skewed by Democrats, and they're doing it by lessening the charges so it doesn't show up on the reports as high. What do you think is happening in Colorado? Do you think things are getting better?
I think there are places. I think there are some pockets of things getting better, and I think there are some pockets of things getting worse. And I think there are going to be increases in certain types of crimes and decreases in other types of crimes. And I'm curious about the platitude from the Trump administration about saying that attorney generals are purposefully lessening charges in order to make the crime statistics look better. And I would love to see some more information, some diagnoses and pullouts on that information, because in the prosecutors that I've talked with, many times charges are lowered based on being able to get a plea deal or what they think they can actually make stick inside of the courtroom. And so many times that's one of the things where for years I was very much anti-death penalty. Primarily, I just don't want to give the state the power to kill its citizens. I think there are other things that we can do, but once we get to there, that's a problem for me just based on a social contract. But what I have learned and where I've changed my tune on this is that the death penalty is a fantastic bargaining chip for any district attorney to say, you know, I'm going to come at you with the death penalty, or we can go after life in prison. And rather than doing this long, protracted case, I can get you to plead to this, and I'm going to guarantee that while you're going to be incarcerated, at least you get to live out the rest of your days. That is a tremendous tool to be used. So in that case, I wouldn't say that the DA was necessarily being soft on crime. So I just want to see the pull downs. I'm not saying it didn't occur, but I want to see the causal relationship between politics rather than some other motivation. Now, could I say things like in Denver, could they be doing it based on politics? The Denver DA's office, what we've seen over there, and not indicting purposefully the current DA and previous DAs? Yeah, I could see that. Other DAs in the state, I'm not as convinced. But I didn't say it wasn't true. So, yeah, we'll see.
That data will be coming out in the next few weeks from the Department of Justice, but would love to hear from you. Mike Johnston oftentimes runs out there and says, oh, crime in Denver's getting better. It's being reduced. We're working at it. Do you trust the numbers? Do you trust him? Is it possible that the city is lessening the charges so that it doesn't look as bad on these reports? Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Okay. On Monday's Jeff and Bill Show, Billy's back. We talk the No Kings rally. A powerful organizing force? in Denver. Good morning, Nick. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. And I just want a quick aside. I never watch football, but I happened to watch the game yesterday. That has to rank in the top 5 of all football games in NFL history.
Agree. That was so much fun. Very cool.
It was. And on the edge of your seats the whole time. But I just want to commend you because you hit the nail on the head when about 25 minutes, half hour ago, you mentioned the real problem in this country is education. We have a terrible educational system on the whole. And these people who protest and about this or about that, they have no clue what they're talking about. And when they compare Trump to Hitler, they don't even know who Hitler was.
Nick, it's a great point, and it's heartbreaking when you see the breakdown of the civics education that's taken place. But I actually think our schools are producing exactly what they are intending to produce right now, and that's little leftist activists. So you have kids that can't pass any standardized tests, but can tell you Trump is Hitler, that you can change your gender, all this stuff. That's what they've been trained. That's what they believe. And if conservatives want to get real serious about this country, you've got to focus on reforming education. And look, I know we all embrace school choice, and we will see some changes that are there, but we need to be producing our teachers, our school headmasters, our administrators. Yes. There needs to be a conservative movement to create and produce those, because right now what you saw on Saturday, whether you believe the numbers or not, 20,000, 30,000, it was a lot. And they have been, 90% of them have been educated in government-run education.
That's exactly right. And I'm on the verge of turning back my my college degree from college because they're just as bad.
Hey, Nick, I got a question for you, and maybe for Jeff as well. Of GOP voters, how many of them also would have been educated by government-run education? What
Probably
percentage?
At this point about 90%. But I will tell you this, that if you're a conservative, most of us have had to go through a moment where we ended up having to reject what we were learning in school. We've lost friends. We've lost family members. And I will tell you this very clearly. I was never taught what conservatives actually believe until I left and started working in Washington, D.C. and hanging around people like the Heritage Foundation. You are not taught the original intent of the Constitution, for instance, in civic education. No, they're not taught the conservative worldview. And we saw it live here in studio last week when I was saying things like, we come from a Judeo-Christian heritage. And some of our co-hosts were like mind-boggled by it. It was like almost pseudo-racist to them.
Well, here's the reason I asked the question about the percentage of GOP voters is if the idea is that all these people that showed up at the No Kings rally and all these Democrats and liberals have been indoctrinated by the schools, how effective is it when Donald Trump got 49% of the voting of the electorate in the last election?
Because we're the free thinkers.
No, but hang on a
sec.
sec.
We break against it. It's that simple. That's the answer.
No.
We went through it. I graduated. I went through government-run education the entire time. And I am now in opposition to what I was trained.
Or perhaps the large-scale political indoctrination that you claim is neither that large nor effective. Didn't work for half the country.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
I think it is that large and effective, but the problem is, as you get out of high school and you start facing the real world, and you start looking at the world the way it really is, not the way you think it should be, you start questioning the stuff that you were spoon-fed in high school.
Then, Nick, why did we see so many boomers at those No King protests? Shouldn't they have been out in the real world and discovering all the stuff you just talked about for years? Why were they there?
Well,
then?
I think you have to start getting into your late 20s, early 30s.
Those people were later than that, though. Those people were 50s and the 60s. So how come they didn't come to the same conclusion, Nick? If you're saying that that's when it happens, well, we saw thousands upon thousands of people across America. where what you said has to happen didn't happen. So
It doesn't
your
happen
premise?
100%.
But again, so that's the question. That's where I'm going with this. This idea that these schools are large indoctrination centers, and then you say this is how we get out of it, Nick, afterwards, yet we still have a large portion of people being Democrats, perhaps where you start with the premise isn't necessarily as accurate.
Well, it might be. You might be true. You might not be true. But the thing is, it takes a while to detoxify you.
That's
and
right.
not everybody has an open mind.
Nick, they were boomers.
And they
How
were
much
the
more
ones
time
that
do they need?
never did.
How
Yes,
much
they
more
never
time
got
do
it.
they need?
No, well,
Nick said
in
it was
that
20s
case-
or 30s. They've had all the time.
yeah, I mean, you're not going to get a 100% rejection. But, Bill,
Yeah.
I don't think you could go into a high school in Colorado today and ask a student, a general student, you might get some of the Turning Point kids, what is a conservative? What does it mean to be a conservative in the state, and get a rational answer? I think you'd get, well, they're racists. Well, they support Nazis. Donald Trump's a Nazi. I don't think a high school student in Colorado, outside of a handful that are part of Turning Point, can tell you what it means to be a conservative.
I don't think that more than a handful of high school students in Colorado would be able to discuss politics with you on any level. And that comes from and that's just in general. I'm not talking about liberal or conservative. I just don't think that's necessarily the idea. And I think that if you went to other groups and asked them what a liberal is, you might get some vastly different answers as well that might be just as off center, just as off kilter, and just as wrong.
They would go liberal good, conservative bad. Okay, what makes them? I can't even tell you. All right, this absolutely 100% indoctrination taking place in these schools by the teachers, by the curriculum. They couldn't even tell you what Edmund Burke is. They couldn't tell you what original intent of the Constitution is. We had guests last week that couldn't tell us that Western civilization is what formed the United States of America.
Yet we
That
have
is
a
correct.
president that believes through executive fiat he can change the Constitution. So again, a horse on both sides
No,
of people that have no idea
come on.
what's going on in civics.
You're taking off on a
it
rabbit
is-
trail
it is-
here.
No, it's not
I'm
necessarily a rabbit
talking
trail.
the
What I'm talking
education
about.
system, and you jump to Trump.
No, but yeah, again, and he is a product of our education system and the private education system that many people want to be in. So again, he had all the advantages, still doesn't know how tariff works. So some of those things,
Bill,
all
what do
I'm
you
saying
think-
is that
what-
there's lax standards in much of our education system that should be reformed because we don't hold kids to standards like we used to. We want to pass them along instead of actually making sure they can impart the knowledge and repeat the knowledge because we don't want to hold kids back. There's a large system inside of that. But I just don't see the large liberal indoctrination that so many
What do you think
and if it is,
the
then
number
it
is
didn't work
among
so well.
high school students that are progressive versus conservative?
Here's the thing. Rather than of high school students, let's talk about the larger demographic.
No, we're talking.
No,
we're
hang on a sec.
talking about education.
No,
so why
I know.
not
Hang
high
on.
school students?
This is why, as it has been a truism over the previous 5 to 6 decades that individuals that are below the age of 25 tend to be more progressive than people above.
5-6 decades.
Yeah,
What
tend to
happened?
be.
What happened during those
Tend
5
to
to
be.
6 decades?
No, it just tends to be. And it's about the idea of progress inside of the social construct. Because at one point, people that were very conservative didn't want to change the segregation patterns in the country. And again, I'm not throwing rocks as far as...
Oh, Bill, you're jumping all around.
No, I'm not.
Now
No,
you're getting
you went
into
back-
segregation.
but you
the
went back to-
Republican Party was founded
You
as
went
the
back to 50
anti-slavery
but
party.
that's not where you were in the civil rights movement. While true, that's not where you were in the civil rights
Bill,
movement.
Bill,
That's fair.
More Republicans than Democrats voted for the Civil Rights Act. Look it up. All right. Nick,
Can I say
Denver,
something?
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
All right, we got to get to a break. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. I want to be crystal clear. The Democrats did have more people that voted for the Civil Rights Act, but as a percentage, it was the Republicans that had the higher percentage that supported it. The division that prevented it from passing was the Southern Democrats that were preventing it. So the Republicans were there in higher percentages to support the passing of the Civil Rights Act.
Nixon's Southern strategy. Yeah.
Right, so they just went out there. But to say that Republicans and conservatives were supporting Jim Crow or any of that stuff is not right. That's the founding of our party.
But it is held up by the behavior of those people bearing that banner at that time. It is held up by some of that.
Why am I being thrown in with Southern Democrats?
I'm not throwing you. We can talk about this, but this is not the history thing we need to do today. This is for another day. We can go back and forth about this.
Oh, Greg, I'm sorry we couldn't get to you. It's one of those full mornings. Bill's back. Call us tomorrow, Greg, and we'll get you up first thing.
I run stuff out of my face hole. I'm sorry. So give us a call later.
We've got a wild week ahead of us, including a live broadcast Wednesday, IHOP Highlands Ranch. Don't miss it. You've been listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
We are News Talk 710 KNUS. Good luck on Monday.